grab new stuff from your Git repositories. If you notice your repository didn't have all the pset2 stuff in it, and it won't have today's lecture stuff in it either. So in order to get that, you have to set up what's called an upstream location. This is the command right here. Actually, it's almost fits on the screen. Let's see if I can get it to fit on the screen. Almost fits on the screen. There we go. Right. So what you'll need to do, unfortunately, I could not figure out how to do this part through IntelliJ. So what you'll need to do in order to pull changes that I push out from your repository is open up a console, or if you're on Windows, I think you'll have to open up the Git bash, is that what it's called, or something like that, and go to the directory that contains your repository, right? Go to that directory. I'll be happy to help you out with this too. And enter this command to link it back to my repository. You only have to do this once. So once you have this set up, you don't have to do it again. So once you've gone and done this in the console, once you've set up the location of the upstream in the console, if you want to pull new changes from my repository, you can go up to Git, VCS, and then Git, and then pull. And then here, you'll see that there's a drop-down box. You'll see that my version of this will show up. You know that it's mine because it'll say DS Shook, my name, right? And then just go ahead and click pull once that's done. And any changes that I've added, lecture slides, problem sets, etc., will then be pulled down into your repository. So you'll get a copy for yourself to work on for the problem sets. They will see two different URLs. I only see one because I'm on the base. Yeah, because I'm on the base. You'll see two. You'll see one for yours, and you'll see one for mine. You want to select mine. You want to select the one with my name on it, DS Shook, and then click pull, and it should pull down any changes that I've added to my repository and put them into your repository. So that's how you can pull down new files. That's only the first step, however. Once you pull down those new files, you then have to add them into IntelliJ. And the way that you can do that is to create new modules. So for example, pset2 is actually split up into there's actually three kind of pset2s that I'll talk about in just a minute. pset2a, 2b, and 2c. So to add these in, what you'll need to do after you set up the upstream and pull down the changes, you'll need to go to File and New Module. And then in module name, just type in what you want. pset2a, pset2b, pset2c, inheritance lecture, right? Whatever the case may be. And you can usually from then on just select next. So I can't do this because it already exists, right? I don't want to erase my version of this. You'll see something a little bit different when you do it. But just click next and then finish up the prompts. You shouldn't have to enter in anything else besides the module name. And once that's finished, you should see the problem set pop up in IntelliJ over here. Any questions about that piece before I start to talk about the problem sets a little bit? Yeah. It'll pull from my repository, yes. Right.
So you're going to pull down from those. They'll sync your local repository up with his, and then push back to yours. That will sync your remote repository. So there's like a bring down, push back up. It's not clicking those get up.
Right. Yeah, there's only one copy. I mean, nobody's sharing, to my knowledge. So yeah, if you're no, it won't mess it up. No, I actually tried this. I created my own fork on a separate account and tried it out, and it works. So, and I'll stick around. I mean, I'll be around for another half hour, 45 minutes to help people get this set up before I leave today. Any other questions about the Git stuff before I talk about the problem sets a little bit? Right. Yeah. So if you want to know what's available, right after you do the, I pulled up the wrong window. After you do the poll, after you do this stuff where you set up the remote and you go to Git and you do the poll, if you go onto github.com, or even if you just look on your local computer, just go to your repository directory, you'll see the different folders that are available to you. Those are the modules that you need to load in. So just type in the name of basically of the folder that you want to bring into IntelliJ, which you can reference through GitHub or on your local machine. Like I said, I'll help you get all that set up. It'll become much easier the more often we do this kind of stuff. Any other Git questions? As for problem set 2, you'll notice there are 3 pieces, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, probably not going to get all 3 done. I just want to make sure having too much to do is better than not enough to do, right? So I'd really like to see people actually try 2B. I probably should have named it 2A, but it was too late for me to change it. Sorry about that. But 2B is what will require to use a scanner and or dialogues. 2A actually builds off the original problem set 1 with the course and student. It has you add some inheritance concepts into that particular problem set. So this one might actually go kind of quickly if you understand inheritance. It might be a good one to start with, but I'd really like to see people get 2B done in order to consider this problem set complete. So if you want to do 2A or not, I'll kind of leave that up to you to decide depending on how comfortable you're feeling about this particular concept, about this particular problem set. I'd really like to see people tackle 2B. And then 2C is just kind of bonus. If you have time to get to it, great. If you don't have time to get to it, not the end of the world. 2B, by the way, just to kind of fill you in, has you making a quiz. So your quiz can contain different types of questions. You can have multiple choice questions. You can have fill in the blank questions, right? Stuff like that. So you can use inheritance to define a question base class and then define the subclasses for each of the specific question types. And by the end, you should be able to prompt the user for answers to these questions, right? And check to see if they're right or not. So I think it should be pretty fun. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with in terms of questions and quizzes and stuff. Any other questions for me right now? If not, I will push all of this stuff right now, actually, and then stick around for another half hour, 45 minutes, and help people get set up for problem set 2 that need it, or if you're still working on problem set 1, I can help you out with that as well. Push. Alrighty. I guess I didn't need to include the push on the